What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Northernwolfist. Castle level is a 14, so we'll jump into it on my knight really quickly and see what he's got. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to note is that maybe your snotters should be a little bit farther forward, so that you have to kind of initiate into the snotters rather than the cyclops. You want your cyclopses to, like your high priority units, the ones that the majority of your points are in, you want those to come in after so that they don't take the initiation damage. Like if I'm an archer, I could headshot one of these and kill it, and then there would only be two left, where I would have to initiate on the snotter before I could headshot on the cyclopses. Makes it easier for you to, miss and stuff like that, so it's just better. Alright. Alright, and then you have a Zeke here, but the Zeke isn't quite connected to this Defendertron yet. It needs to be a little bit closer for that to happen. But the one thing that I do want to note is that the room itself is something that should probably be changed. Because as of right now, one of these two groups, either this one or this one, is skippable. I'm pretty sure. I'll test it before I, say that that is the case, because maybe I'm wrong, but I'm reasonably sure that that is the case. Yeah, so you notice that that Zeke is completely skippable now. So you'll want to switch out some of these rooms. I'm thinking that this is probably one of the starting rooms, if I remember correctly. So what you'll want to do is switch out some of your rooms so that they don't have two different ways that the hero can go. It's a lot harder for you to predict where the hero's going to go and set things up accordingly. So it's better to switch out to rooms that the hero has to go through the entire area. That way it's easier to make groups not skippable at all. Alright. Personally, I like Pete Pound more on his 3-punch combo. I don't remember what the name of the specialization is exactly, but it's the one where he just walks up to you and just starts hammering you with punches. I'm thinking that one of these groups, I think the Smelly Warrior group here, is skippable as well. You have to really work on your aggro circles. It's very important. The heroes do not have to kill everything in your castle. All they have to kill is the boss room without having anything behind them that's still aggroed, basically. So as soon as they get to the boss room and kill everything, as long as there's no mobs that are still trying to come after the hero, they can get into your treasure room. So you want everything in all of the aggro circles to touch walls so that the hero can't squeeze by them, basically. Alright, and then Mr. Firesley. I think that's fine. Especially at your level. He is still only level 10, and your castle's level 14, so that's starting to get to a point where you need to upgrade him. But I still think it's okay. Yeah, just work on your skippable mob groups, that's the biggest thing. Probably switch out a couple of rooms for different rooms. But yeah, we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, for number 2 we have Polopay. Castle level's in 29, so we'll jump into my archer. Definitely want to start rushing towards level 30 and 32. Because for level 30 archers, it's going to be pretty easy for them to actually get through this. But you do have access to level 28 Stairmasters, which is probably one of the best units in the game right now, to be honest. Really good at, what do you call it? Sustained damage. Alright, so there's a derp over here that I'm going to aggro, and back up outside of trap range. I think if you could get that rotating cannon trap slightly lower, it would be better in this spot. Not the biggest deal in the world, but I could have probably aggroed that derp over there by just being right here. Whereas if your rotating cannon trap is right here, it forces the person to kind of come up to this point, and then if they want to backtrack, they have to go all the way through this fire and all the way around here to this corner. I don't know if your trap placement will allow that, but that small little bit would help them stay in trap range a little bit longer. Alright, Mega Muttons, they're kind of weak at level 30, and yours is only level 26, so it's even more weak. They're pretty low life, to be honest. They're also, because their flame was reduced so much, they don't really get kills anymore either. Even if they get their charge off, They're charged as a reasonable amount of damage, but the follow-up damage isn't enough to make it worthwhile. Alright. Alright, another derp here. We'll pull that. That's a pull through the wall to this puppeteer, but I don't know what else is attached to it. Let's back up for a second. Okay, theres bomblets. Let's drop a volley down on everything. Alright, so this is kind of fine. I'm not a big fan of explodifiers anymore, but you probably don't have access to Mr. Boom Boom yet. Or else I would say all of the spots that you have explodifiers, Mr. Boom Boom is just better. Although he's, you know, a higher point cost. So this one is kind of weird because he's just gonna de-link himself almost instantly. But then you have him linked to a Stairmaster, so I mean, I think that's okay. The Vampire, it can be good. I've had some trouble with him. I personally like him with a healer, because I think he has just enough hit points to start sustaining damage. Now that he got his, you know, 50% health increase. I think he barely sustain damage. Like, it's right on the edge. Sometimes, depending on the room that you're in, it's a better situation to just try to DPS him down, and then sometimes it's a better option to go after the Puppeteer. But yours is fine as well. He's almost guaranteed to do like 500 damage generally, which is pretty nice. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so you're a lot of times you're opting for a silencer rather than another Defendatron. I think that's okay. It's not a big deal. Either way, it just makes it a little bit more weak to volleys, that's all. But a lot of the times if you get silenced and you have to roll out of a displacement field or whatever, an ominous orb, then I think that's pretty good. Because you'll just take extra damage trying to roll until you realize that you're silenced. So it works out pretty well. Alright, I got hit by that, but you know, Cyclops is on charge. I have a couple of them as well, but they're just not as good as they used to be, you know? Their stun time is just so low that even with a faster attack speed mob than a Stairmaster, they don't really ever get hit. Like, you might get hit by one arrow from a Zeke or something, but that's about it. It's really not that good anymore. But you don't want to use all Stairmasters either, so I kind of understand why you put it in there. Just can't really expect much out of it anymore. Hopefully that'll get changed eventually. Okay. I like spiders. Obviously they're a lot weaker than they used to be, but they're still pretty good units. Another spider around here that I can see, but I don't know exactly where it is. It looks like it's right there. So that angle is there still for people if they notice that there's a webmaster sitting up there. They can get a free headshot on it. Alright, then what do you have for the boss room? The double Defendatron Stairmaster. I'm wondering if there's anywhere else you could fit that into your castle. Because the problem with the boss room is it's very wide open. So, like, it's pretty easy for me to take almost no damage from this. Whereas in a smaller room it would be a lot harder, like even no trap damage, because it's just a really wide open area. So I took like 1 tick of damage right there. Alright, so he dodged through. And see, this would be one area where I think a healer would benefit you quite a bit. I don't know if you can fit one in at all, but you noticed how a lot of, like, those 2 units were pretty low, but I had to dodge out of the way of them. And so during that time, he would have gotten at least 1 tick of heal off, and it would take me a little bit longer. Not a big deal, but it's something you could think about. Actually, I don't know what that is. Is that a puppeteer? It might be. I don't know. You might have already had a puppeteer in there, but maybe, you know, you could use this Defenatron on it instead of whatever you had it on. Nonetheless, it's still a pretty cool castle. It's unique with the amount of elite vamps that you have. And I think they're a decent unit nowadays. So, pretty good. We'll jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and next up, lastly, we have Christ of Romuald. Cast level's a 19, so we'll jump into it on my knight. Let's see. Alright, so we have a couple archers, some cyclopses. This double pull works out pretty well for you because, you know, charging cyclopses plus archers is good. The only problem is, you know, the charge has been nerfed so much. I do like the AoE on it as well. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's helping you out a lot, is that AoE. I'm like not targeting it down because I want to DPS everything else down, but really I should have just dealt with it. This is a pretty good group, to be honest. And then the healer as well, like I'm probably gonna have to use a potion on this. Yeah, pretty good group, for sure. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm not as big of a fan of the charging Pete Palmore as like the 3-punch combo Pete Palmore. I've kind of said that before. I just don't think, I think he lacks a lot of the DPS needed when he's on this specialization. Because he's still going to get shut down by bear traps from an archer, and knights have to get right up next to him to deal their damage regardless, so the charge doesn't really add anything. I like the over-the-head slam and the 3-punch combo better than charge on Pete Palmore specifically. I think it just scales better with his damage. Alright, looks like there's a Zeke coming again. I like the placement of this. It kind of forces me to move around when I'm trying to use this this corner to abuse, so that's good. I might have to use another potion here. This one as well, another good one. I'm gonna just use the potion. Alright. I should be killing this puppeteer. I'm playing kind of silly right now. But yeah, another good spot for a Pete Palmore. Again, kind of the same thing. I think he would do more damage on the other specializations, but I think charge is more for its utility rather than for its damage. So if you're going to want the utility out of it, then why not use a Cyclops? That's at least my take on it. Kind of does the same thing, but it's less point value. Alright. some slow traps. Your castle goes this way. I can tell by the like reflection on the wall over here. It's kind of blue up in there, so that means that your castle goes this way. Alright. I do like the Defendatrons. The Hungerbot's a little bit weird. I guess you're going for the pull into the next group, and then maybe you're going for the Scorpio to knock you back onto the spike trap, which I think is okay. Alright. See again the glow, you can see it up there, so that means your castle goes this way. This could be a little annoying. I like the charge onto the spike trap. I think you only really need one Cyclops though. I think 2 is kind of overdoing it, but I guess you wanted both angles to be covered, so I mean it's okay.
I need to get out of here. Can't take much more of this. Close at me.
Alright. And then we have one before the boss room. Let's kill the healer off. My knight does not have as much DPS as my archer, or else I would just go after the Zeke here. There we go. Alright, and then what do we have for the boss room? A Jimbo, a Scorpio, and then the Archer. I like the Archer and the Scorpio. I think the Jimbo kind of works against what you're going for here, though. Because the main combo is to bash you away from the target with the Scorpio, and then to damage you with the Zeke. But the Jimbo just kind of will walk towards you when that's all happening, and then you can deal with him afterwards. So it's kind of like you deal with the Scorpio and the Zeke first, and then you deal with the Jimbo afterwards. Like, I think it would be better with either 2 Scorpios or 2 Zekes, and then the other. But either way, it's a pretty good castle, I do have to say. It made me use 3 potions, so that's pretty good. And I only got 1 star on it as well. Pretty good castle. So that's number 3, we're going to end the video here. As always, if you enjoyed, please subscribe. If you want to be a part of Reavercast, you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com. And there's a spreadsheet in the description of the video letting you know kind of where your castle will be in the list of names. You know, I'll get to your castle whenever I have time. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.